So today we're going to be watching his story, one of the fastest growing channels on YouTube, with 4.7 million subscribers. We're going to be watching the most popular videos, her oldest.
A teenager tortured my dog for fun, then threatened to do it again. My dog had gone missing for
a
few hours, and when I finally found him, he was standing outside another house in my neighborhood. He was covered in bruises, his eye was swollen shut, and blood was still dripping down his side. The teenager walked out and didn't apologize. He just told me to keep my dog on a
If somebody did that to my dog, they're dead. They're dead, bro.
leash, or he'd do it again. I rushed him to the vet, but he was too far gone. I had to put him down just to spare him the suffering. That dog was the only memory I had left of my late wife, Helen. So I called in a few favors and found out everything about this kid, his school, his...
Wait, what? So you're telling me that you found everything about him? So you found his everything? What his bed looked like?
job, his girlfriend. He was enrolled at a Catholic private school, and when I told them what he did, they expelled him within the week. His girlfriend was vegan and an animal lover, so convincing her to break up with him was easy. I sprinkled in a few lies, and she destroyed his car for revenge. Then my friends and I posed as customers at his job and filed complaints until his manager fired him on the spot. His life was gone within days, and as he was walking home after getting fired, I ran him over with my truck.
Okay, that's too far, bro. That's too far. That's too far. I think that's too far. Ran him over. Just look at his body like some. I understand that he hit your dog. He like some. I'm dead.
A teenager tortured my dog for fun.
The popular girls ranked every guy in our grade by attractiveness, so
What?
I ranked them by weight. Someone texted me, "Sorry bro," with a link. Every guy in our grade ranked by attractiveness and height. I was a 5. The comment next to my name said, "Average face, below average height, would not recommend." Other comments were worse. "Would be cute if he wasn't built like a middle schooler." The whole thing was anonymous, but everyone knew who made it. Tiffany and her crew. You couldn't miss Tiffany. Built like Jabba the Hutt stuffed into a
Built like Jabba the Hutt.
Melville top, but she ran the school so nobody said anything. By the next Monday, 3 guys had deleted their socials. One kid, Darnell, stopped coming to school entirely. I saw his mom picking up his homework from the front office. She looked like she'd been crying. The girls thought it was hilarious. I heard
That's not hilarious, bro. Wait.
Tiffany in the hallway saying, "It's just a joke. Guys are so sensitive." I tried to do it the right way first.
Who said that? That men are too sensitive, bro.
Went to the school counselor and showed her the list. She said she'd look into it and did absolutely nothing. A week later, the list was still up with more comments being added. Someone ranked Darnell a 1.5 and wrote, "Generous." He still wasn't back at school. I caught Tiffany at her locker between classes. "The list is hurting people. Darnell hasn't been to school in 2 weeks. You need to take it down." She looked at me with this
I hate when classmates just ghost people.
fake pity face. "Aw, are you upset about your little 5? Don't worry, I'm
My man, shut your Jabba the Hutt, Scooby-Doo, look yourself up with your...
sure someone will settle for you eventually." Her friends howled. I didn't react. "So you'd be okay if someone did the same thing to you?" She laughed. "No one would dare." I nodded. "You're probably right." That night I sat in my room thinking about what would actually get through to her. Words didn't work. Authority didn't work.
Wait.
The only thing Tiffany would understand is feeling exactly what she made everyone else feel. So I opened a Google Doc and started typing. Got the weights from Instagram posts, beach photos, anything
Why
public.
is she
Estimated
so
where I had to. Spent 3 days on it. Made sure it was brutal. Made sure Tiffany was right at the top. Friday lunch, I dropped the
built
list.
like all the Paw Patrol characters combined, bro. I'm just saying. She built like all the Paw Patrol characters combined.
At exactly noon. Within 10 minutes, it spread to every corner of the cafeteria. Girls were crying, screaming. One girl threw her phone across the room, but I kept my eyes on Tiffany. She was holding court as usual when someone handed her their phone. She squinted at the screen, scrolled. Her smile disappeared. Scrolled more. Her face went red, then purple. She was number 1, 187 pounds.
Okay, sorry for
Comment, not even...
for that. Bro, no, 187. Bro, that's all the Paw Patrol characters combined, gang.
Ozempic could save this one. She stood up so fast, her chair fell over. Her eyes scanned the cafeteria until they found me. I waved. She marched over with her whole crew behind her. You think this is funny? This is...
She acted like she in a gang or something and they gonna kill you, bro. They ain't gonna kill you. What they gonna do about it? Nothing.
disgusting. This is body shaming. I'm reporting you.
Or you were judging people on their fit, so stop talking.
I stayed calm. Body shaming. That's crazy. It's just a joke. This isn't a joke. This is harassment, is it? Because when I told you to take your list down, you said it was just a joke. You said guys need to stop being so sensitive. The cafeteria went dead silent. The difference is you ranked guys by height and attractiveness, things they were born with, things they can never change. I ranked by weight, something anyone can change if they wanted to. For the first time, she had nothing to say. Her friends backed away. We both got detention. Someone finally dared. The popular...
The Jabba the Hutt girl finally there.
I walked into the parking lot and immediately noticed a frat guy making fun of someone mentally challenged. He was just...
Oh. POV. If I was him, I'm not trying to judge him, but the bald-headed dude right there, that's it. I will body slam that frat guy, bro. I will body slam him, bro. He is dead. Body slam him on the concrete 16 times.
trying to go inside when the frat guy stopped him, made him get down on his knees, and start cleaning his shoes. I felt horrible because he actually started doing it. I started walking towards him ready to say something, but I could see him...
I'm ready to body slam him. But I got a question. Where is the orange ginger? Where's the orange hair guy, though?
taking out his phone. Then I heard all of the other guys start laughing because he was patting him on the head saying, "Good idiot." I was ready to yell at him, call him everything he
I'm ready to body slam his ass. I didn't cuss, by the way.
deserved, but then I froze. I looked over and saw someone else walking towards him. This guy was absolutely massive. He was probably 6 feet 6 inches and looked like he could bench press my car.
Bro could carry my whole house, bro. To be honest, he can carry my whole house, man.
Worst part was he was absolutely seething with rage. The frat guy was too busy making fun of him to notice, but his friends saw him. They all froze, and just as the frat guy turned around, he slapped him so hard across the head, his entire 140-pound body completely folded like a chair. He hit the
Folded, so can you come pick up your phone?
ground, and the big guy helped him up. Then he took his phone and made him clean his shoes. Every time he stopped, he slapped him. I walked into the...
When I saw the girl who killed my son laughing at his funeral, I snapped. Not a seeing red snap, not a crashing out snap, a cold, calculated snap. She had accused him publicly with no proof, but her father was a congressman, so nobody questioned her. The whole city sent him death threats until he couldn't take it anymore. The courts would never touch her, so I decided to handle it myself. 20 years as a cop meant I knew people, dangerous people who owed me favors.
You gonna body slam him and knock him down and kill him and kill her? I meant. I'm just kidding, bro. You will go to jail. You have like life sentences, bro. Anyways, now we're gonna watch the popular videos. Where is that? We're gonna watch the popular. God dang, 77 million views. I know why this channel got 4.72 million or 3 million views. Subscribers.
My twin brother Chris and I were 9 when we learned Morse code.
He
We
tapped back.
tapped messages under the dinner table when Mom told us to stop talking and tapped through the wall between our bedrooms every night. When Chris got into a car accident and the
Rest in peace to Chris.
doctor said he'd never wake up, I pulled up a chair next to his bed, took his hand, and tapped. "Are you there?" Nothing. But I came back the next afternoon and tapped again. Before I left, I always said the same thing. "See you tomorrow, Chris." A week later, Chris's finger
I think that he's gonna tap back. Since his title, he tapped back.
twitched against mine, and I almost fell out of my chair. I grabbed a nurse, and she barely looked up. They're reflexes. It doesn't mean anything. I bought a notebook the next
I
day.
don't care what the nurse say. We don't care what the nurses say.
Started writing down every single one. 4 months in, Mom watched me scribbling and said, "How long are you gonna keep doing this? Until he taps back." He's not gonna tap back. You're talking to a corpse. Dad
Oh, nah.
lasted a few more months before he pulled me into the hallway. "We need to talk about donating your brother's organs. His fingers move every time I hold his hand, Dad. The nurses said those are reflexes. Stop getting your hopes up, son." I don't care what the nurses say.
For real
You're not
though.
donating my brother's organs. But a week later, my parents called to have Chris transferred to a long-term facility to die and scheduled a meeting to sign the papers. The afternoon before the meeting, I tapped into his palm like always, but this time, something tapped.
Ow, bro.
The flight attendant slipped me a napkin that said, "The pilot isn't who he
Wait,
says
what
he
the
is."
heck?
My twin brother
What did
Chris
I
and I
do?
were 9. You're not donating my brother's short, SOS.
Oh.
I grabbed his hand. "Chris, if that's you, squeeze once." He squeezed so hard my knuckles
no.
cracked. I stormed into the meeting room and told them my brother just responded to me. The caseworker said, "This is very common with families who aren't ready to let go." My parents nodded. I grabbed the transfer papers off the table.
Oh.
"You're not signing anything until you..."
I will ball those transfer papers up, chat. Why? I'm not live on Twitch. What's
Come
in
see
chat?
for yourself. I walked them to Chris's bed and grabbed his hand. "Ask him anything." The caseworker asked what year it was. Chris squeezed out the answer. "Count."
How is he gonna? I got a question though. How is he gonna squeeze out 2026? He gotta be like some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34.
Five perfect squeezes. His mother's name, tapped out letter by letter. By the 10th question, she said, "He's still alive. We can't move him." Weeks later, I asked Chris what kept him fighting when everyone gave up. Heard Mom call me a corpse. Heard Dad say donate my organs. Heard all of them leave, except you. I asked why. I wanted to see you too. My twin brother Chris and I were... The flight attendant slipped me a napkin that said, "The pilot isn't who he says he is. Meet me in the back to talk." I knew she chose to tell me because of the military dog tags around my neck. I folded the napkin and slid it into my pocket. And that's when the captain's voice came over the intercom. "Good morning, folks. This is Captain Hopkins, expecting smooth skies to Chicago." But something was wrong. I could feel it in my bones. I waited 2 minutes and casually walked to the back, not knowing what to expect. The flight attendant was there with a man holding up a police badge. The man whispered, "I'm glad you're here. I'm an undercover cop." I knew something was wrong straight away. The flight attendant whispered, "I've flown with Captain Hopkins for 6 years. I don't exactly know what's wrong, but I know that's not Hopkins, and we're flying the wrong way." She showed me the flight map of where we were heading.
Nah. Nah. Bro, we
plane is heading toward an abandoned airport. I lived with Captain Hopkins for 6 years. I don't exactly know what's wrong, but I know that's not Hopkins, and we're flying the wrong way. She showed me the flight map of where we were heading. The
North Rubber Island. What the frick is a North Rubber Island?
plane is heading toward an abandoned airport. I leaned over the map. My body was pumping with adrenaline because it was the perfect place to crash a plane. There's an empty space above the pilot's room. I can climb up and listen to what the pilot and co-pilot are planning through the ceiling. Take my number. If you can tell there's something fishy going on, text me
With the
one
off-brand pilot and the off-brand co-pilot.
word. Now, that's the signal to move. And to distract everyone while I climbed above the ceiling, the flight attendant made an announcement on the speakers to tell everyone to keep their seatbelts on. Through the cracks, I could hear 2 men in the pilot's room talking. 15 years ago today, our brother died because of Captain Hopkins. Now we get to crash his plane with him tied up on it while we impersonate him. I texted the undercover cop. Now, the cart slammed into the pilot's room door, and the cop kicked it open. I dropped through the ceiling and tackled the fake pilot out of his seat. The cop pinned the co-pilot to the floor.
Nah! I don't condone violence. No, he just got hit like some. He did some. But he got cooked.
Flight attendant grabbed the radio. "Mayday, our pilot is gone. We need help landing right now." She looked at me. "Find Hopkins, the actual pilot. He has to be on this plane somewhere." I sprinted to the back of the plane, checking every door. I yanked open the closet next to the bathrooms, and Captain Hopkins was inside with his hands tied and tape across his mouth. I ripped the tape off. "Get me to the controls." He ran to the front and dropped into the pilot's chair. He grabbed the wheel. "Tower, this is the real Captain Hopkins. I'm landing this plane." When we finally landed, the cops dragged the brothers off in handcuffs. Flight attendant came up to me in the aisle. I pulled the napkin out of my pocket and held it up. "You saved 200 lives with this." She smiled and took it back. The flight attendant slipped me a napkin. My daughter came home crying with an F because her teacher doesn't know what color blood is. The first time I realized something was wrong.
What? Are you dumb? It's obviously red. Blood is not blue, bro. It's red. Blood is red. How? She's getting an F for Breen, right? Because one time I was bleeding, it was like red.
Riley came home from school holding out her arm. "Look, Dad, you can see the blue blood in my veins right here." She traced the blue lines under her skin with her finger. I put down my coffee and looked at her. "Actually, sweetheart, that's not true. Blood is always red because of hemoglobin. It's just darker red in your veins." Her face scrunched up, but Mrs. Miller showed us a whole PowerPoint about it. She even had
Mrs. Miller is wrong.
diagrams from a science book. The next morning, I packed my work scrubs in my bag. I'm an ER nurse at Mercy General, and I was working the afternoon shift anyway. I sent Mrs. Miller an email asking if I could do a quick presentation about blood for career day that afternoon. She loved the idea. When I arrived, Mrs. Miller introduced me as Riley's dad, who works at the hospital. 28 kids stared up at me from their desks. "I heard you guys learned that blood is blue inside your body," I said. The entire class nodded enthusiastically. Mrs. Miller beamed from her desk in the corner. I pulled out a blood collection tube from my pocket and held it up. "This is what we use to draw blood at the hospital. Notice something. The tube creates a vacuum. No oxygen inside at all." I
Wait, what just happened?
held it up. "This is what we use to draw blood at the hospital. Notice something. The tube creates a vacuum. No oxygen inside at all." I paused. "When we draw blood with these, it never touches oxygen until we pop the cap off." I showed them photos on my phone of sealed blood tubes. "See? Still red." Mrs. Miller's smile started fading. She shifted in her chair and cleared her throat. A boy raised his hand and pointed to their science.
Published. Can I zoom in? Published 1998. Ah, nah. 1998, bro. I wasn't even born. That's when the World War III started.
Textbook, but our textbook says it's blue. I picked up the book and checked the publication.
I knew it. Because it said 1998, bro. That's when World War III was there, gang.
1998. Medicine updates pretty fast. We used to think lots of things that turned out to be wrong. Mrs. Miller suddenly stood up from her desk, her hands gripping the edge. "Well, thank you for that interesting presentation, Mr. Johnson, but we need to move on to math now." I nodded and started packing when a girl in the back raised her hand. "So our textbook is wrong?" The class
Yeah.
erupted in whispers. Mrs. Miller's jaw clenched and her voice got tight. "The curriculum says..." "Actually," I interrupted, pulling up the state science standards on my phone. I walked over and turned my phone toward her. "The current curriculum specifically mentions this myth as something to correct." She stared at the screen and her eyes narrowed. Her mouth pressed into a thin line and her nostrils flared. "Can I speak with you in the hallway?" The kids watched as we walked out and the door closed behind us. "Do you have any idea how hard it is when parents undermine my authority?" Her face was red and her voice was sharp. "Now they'll question everything I say." I kept my voice calm.
Isn't that you want them to do that? Ain't you want them to do that? Always be curious.
Isn't that exactly what we want them to do? Question.
That's what I just said. I swear to God, I never watched this.
Things and learn critical thinking. She crossed her arms tightly. "I've been teaching for 22 years. I'm not changing my whole curriculum because some nurse thinks he knows better than our
deserves a
textbooks."
subscribe.
The next day, I found out Mrs. Miller gave the class a pop quiz. Riley came home crying, her face red and puffy. Her hands were shaking as she handed me a paper with a big red F on it. I took a deep breath and felt my jaw tighten as I looked at the question. What color is blood inside the body? Riley had written red, and Mrs. Miller had marked it wrong.
That's not wrong, bro. That's a myth. That was published back in the 19s. Bro, I wasn't even born. What the fuck? I'm just kidding, bro.
I requested a meeting with Principal Davis and brought printouts of medical textbooks, the state science standards, and Riley's quiz. The principal called in Mrs. Miller and asked her directly, "Is blood blue inside the body?" After a long pause, Mrs. Miller said, "It's what the children understand better." I leaned forward in my chair. My daughter is crying every morning before school because she's afraid of getting F's for writing down the truth. The next day, the school replaced their science books. Now whenever Riley learns something new at school, she comes home and asks me, "Dad, is this actually true, or is it just a Mrs. Miller truth?" My daughter came home crying with an F because her teacher doesn't know what color blood is. The first time I realized something was wrong, Riley came home from school holding out her arm. "Look, Dad, you can see the blue blood in..." The flight attendant slipped me a napkin that's... Every time we heard a knock on the front door, my dad would yell, "Stealth mode," and we had 30 seconds to kill every light in the house. My brother and I would race through the rooms, flipping switches,
No.
yanking cords,
Stealth mode? What is stealth mode for, bro?
shutting off the TV mid-show, while some guy outside banged on the front door yelling, "I know you're in there, buddy." Dad timed us. Once everything was dark, no talking, no moving, no looking out the windows. We'd sit there until Dad did his owl hoot, which meant all clear. Sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes almost an hour. Afterwards, he'd high-five us and go, "Real ninjas couldn't do better." He told us stealth mode was top secret. Never tell your teachers, your friends, nobody. Other people
What
wouldn't
is stealth
understand.
mode
For years,
for?
I believed him. When I was 8, I asked Dad why we had
What is stealth mode for, bro? I think it's dumb. That's what I think.
to hide so much. He said someone...
Wait, what did I just do? No. What did I just do, bro?
Every time we heard a knock on the front door, my dad would yell, "Stealth mode," and we had 30 seconds to kill every light in the house. My brother and I would race through the rooms, flipping switches, yanking cords, shutting off the TV mid-show, while some guy outside banged on the front door yelling, "I know you're in there, buddy." Dad timed us. Once everything was dark, no talking, no moving, no looking out the windows. We'd sit there until Dad did his owl hoot, which meant all clear. Sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes almost an hour. Afterwards, he'd high-five us and go, "Real ninjas couldn't do better." He told us stealth mode was top secret. Never tell your teachers, your friends, nobody. Other people wouldn't understand. For years, I believed him. When I was 8, I asked Dad why we had to hide so much. He said some annoying guy kept bothering our family, and stealth mode was how we dealt with him. I felt proud we had a secret skill that could outsmart bad guys. By the time I was 10, I heard the voice outside yell something about a bet and $20. I tugged Dad's sleeve and whispered, "Is the bad guy trying to steal our money?" Dad shushed me so hard I flinched. When I was 12, I broke the window rule, peeked through the blinds, and saw a completely normal guy in a polo shirt standing on the porch rubbing his forehead. He didn't look like a criminal. He looked like someone's tired uncle. At 13, I told Dad I was just going to open the door and tell the guy to leave us alone. The color left his face. "You absolutely cannot do that." That was the first time stealth mode didn't feel like a game. By 15 or 16, it barely happened anymore. But when it did, Dad would peek through the blinds looking guilty. Mom just shook her head from the couch and muttered something under her breath. I was 17 and home alone when I heard it. "I know you're in there. It's been 12 years, man." I opened the front door. The guy nearly fell backwards. Normal-looking dude, middle-aged, holding a crumpled piece of paper.
Hey,
"Oh,
who's
hi.
that?
Is your dad home? I'm his old college roommate." He held up the paper. "Your old man bet me $20 Michael Jordan wouldn't win his 6th ring. That was 1998. I've been knocking on this door ever since." He handed me the IOU, both their signatures, right there at the bottom. I left it on the kitchen table. Mom saw it first and laughed so hard she had to hold the counter. Dad picked it up, read it, put it back down, and the first thing out of his mouth was, "So now he knows someone's home." Then he turned off the kitchen light and got under the table. We were never in danger. My dad just lost a bet because of the greatest of all time. Every time we heard a knock on the front door, my dad would yell,
That's so dumb, Chad. Bro, they just call. Let me pause.